There we go. Let's get our Facebook friends in here and we can start the Tuesday evening show. We got some wheels spinning, pets in the room with me, hopefully not anybody misbehaving. Carl's going to put his pants on. Nope, turning off the air, I think maybe there. So good to see. Just in time, Carl. The pants were there this time. Appreciate everybody coming in. It is Tuesday evening, the 9th of December. Time for an episode of Building the Broncos. I am Nick Kendell, joined by Carl Dumler. Carl, it's good to see you. I want to take a second, just real quick, to let it breathe. Broncos have won 10 in a row, winners of 11 in a row at home, almost clinched the AFC West last night. The Chiefs are officially out of AFC West title contention, mathematically eliminated. Damn, it feels good to be a Bronco fan right now. We'll see what the rest of the season has. Next 4 games are tough. Playoffs, who the heck knows what goes on in the AFC this year, but right now I'm pretty, I feel like I'm more matter of fact and analytically driven and not too high, not too low. But this is a rare place to be right now for the Broncos, and it is an unbelievable turnaround from where this team was at just 2-3 years ago. So I just want to take a second to let it marinate. Wow, how incredible this has been.
Yeah, the last time I remember, the 2015 season was exciting. But that whole time I was just I was on edge because I'm going, I know Manning's almost done. This is our last chance to really win a Super Bowl with him. And so I was more stressed that season. This one, I expected good things for the Broncos. I didn't expect 11-2 and 10 straight wins. And so I'm trying to just sit back, appreciate it, and love that we have a team that's winning multiple ways too. Defense hasn't been the best the last couple games. Offense stepped up and started really putting some games together. Defense has obviously done well. Special teams is starting to come around. We're starting to peak at the right time as a team. And it's just, like I said, it's just a time to soak it in, appreciate it. And like I said, not even more than that, a great side note is the Chiefs being down, that maybe their dynasty is heading in the wrong direction. I was talking to a Chiefs fan earlier today, and I said, the problem is you look at your last 3 drafts, you haven't gotten a whole lot from them.
No.
Xavier Worthy's kind of a one-trick pony. You don't have – you look at the rest of those picks, there's just not a whole lot there. Maybe this last draft, it'll turn into a good one with Josh Simmons and Lott as well. He was playing okay before he got hurt. But right now, when that's supposed to be kind of the new incoming talent, I'm not seeing it yet. And for the Broncos, it's kind of the opposite, where you're watching this rookie class take over. They're starting to become big-time playmakers every single week. You're looking at the second and third year guys who are just lighting things up as well for this team. And then you've got your star players that you've got signed long-term. You don't have to worry about losing any of them really. And so it's not only that we've got this 10-game win streak, it's, hey, this team has some real staying power. The true foundation of this team are young, other than Garrett Bowles.
Offensive line, not that young, but yeah.
Right,
the line's
right. But offensive line, sometimes you don't have to have young guys. Guys are still playing great when they're 34, 35, 36 years old, and you're trusting that they can hold up. Unless they get hurt, of course. But no, it's a great time to be a Bronco fan. I know some of these games have been stressful, and we might talk about that a little bit more later, but still, they are finding ways to win. They're believing in each other. They're having fun. And it makes it more fun for me, getting to watch these games with my kids. When they were going 6-11 or 6-10, and having my kids sit down on the couch next to me going, Dad, why are the Broncos so bad? You know how hard that is to explain to your kid, this is how it goes sometimes. Sometimes your team is bad. This isn't fun to watch, Dad. I'm like, you're right. It isn't. And so now to sit next to them, and they're like, Dad, look at the Broncos. Look what they're doing. And they've even, since my wife and I got to go to the Giants game, they've had multiple times now where they're going, Dad, show us the game that you and Mom went to. And so we'll sit and watch the game Well, we'll start it in the fourth quarter. I should say that. We don't usually watch the first 3 quarters and how that went. We don't need to care about that. But no, it is. It's just a great time. I hope everybody else is appreciating it and just enjoying that we haven't lost in 2.5 months.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been a really incredible run, and just wanted to shout out to everybody in the chat. It's been a long time coming for us. Not like some fans I know, but like 10 years for covering this team and, keeping the energy high. That's great. I've covered it on the Falcons as well, so I've seen true suffering. But it's, we were in the Russell Wilson trade and clowned around a lot for a bit. So it's good to be here and on the other side. Let's get to some questions here as everybody's coming in. Make sure you click the thumbs up on the way and everything like that. We got String Guy coming in, say, hi all. I was wondering how Bo Nix compares to Jordan Love. Statistically, which one has been the better quarterback this season? I'm picking Nix to leave a fourth quarter winning drive. Denver wins by 3. I mean, Bo Nix has been playing really good football the last 4 weeks, 3 games. But Jordan Love has arguably been the best quarterback in football the last 4 games. He's been pushing the ball vertically. The Bears did kind of slow things down in the third, fourth quarter for them, but he has been killing man coverage. I don't know if you guys check to the Vegas odds, but he's rocketed up the MVP race as well. I think he's number 3 in Vegas MVP odds right now. So, I mean, anywhere you look, Jordan Love has been really, really good. He's number 1 in EPA per play over the last 4 weeks of the season. Overall in the season, he's number 1 in EPA per play also. So it's obviously all stats in football are system stats to a certain extent. You can't truly isolate a variable, but that's without like a true number 1 receiver. He's doing it without Tucker Kraft. Offensive line has had injuries. I mean, Love right now is one of the best 5 quarterbacks in football, and Bo Nix is probably top 15. He's been playing top 10 the last 4 weeks, but that's 3 games. So Love is playing great. It's also just the little fun tongue-in-cheek. It's Toyotathon where he's unbelievable every year. But that's Love's probably, if there was a redraft of all the quarterbacks in the NFC only, he'd be the first, second, or third off the board. I believe that pretty emphatically. Like Stafford for maybe 1 season. Depends what you think about Caleb Williams. Jaden Daniels. It's hard with the injuries. But Love is right there. He's only like 26 still as well. I mean, he's dialing it up, man.
Maybe Dak thrown in there as well.
Dak is in there as well. He's a little bit older. Dak, you're right. I cannot hate Dak Prescott. He's awesome. If the Cowboys were any good or they to start the season, he'd be in the MVP conversation too. And Denver's already beaten some MVP candidates this season, are great quarterbacks. So not afraid of them by any means, but like call it as it is. He's having a great season outside of the one bad game versus the Eagles, which was just, ugly all around.
Yeah. I mean, there are some stats that point to Nix. Total touchdowns. He actually has more total touchdowns than Jordan Love so far this year. I think Nix has 23. Jordan Love has 22 when you throw in the rushing touchdowns as well. I mean, that's not a great stat to determine who's the better quarterback, because Jordan Love's done a better job protecting the football, but Bo Nix offers that little bit of extra juice because of his ability to run. And so you gotta factor that in. And like I said, Nix has been playing much better, and he's looking more like what we were hoping he would look like this year. We talked about at the beginning of the year, if the Broncos can get top 10 quarterback play from Bo Nix, you're probably a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
If he's bottom 10, you're probably fighting for the playoffs. Now, thankfully, when he was playing bottom 10 early in the season, the defense was able to cover it up and be fine. Now that the defense is maybe taking a little bit step back, I'm hoping they can get some things figured out. It looks like it's more communication issues than it is talent issue, I would say. I mean, there's a little bit of a talent linebacker issue there, but there were just so many plays that against the Raiders, especially, they looked so out of position. Safety's not in the right spot. Corner's expecting help. Defensive line just not getting quite the pressure that they were earlier in the season. Those kind of things. And missed tackles. That was the other big thing for the defense that we haven't seen all year. The last couple games, we've seen a couple tackles that they usually make that led to big plays for the other team. So, but like I said, offense is starting to step up. They're looking a little bit more dangerous. Bo Nix looking like he just feels a lot more comfortable in what he's doing and what he's seeing on the field. And so it's going to be a fun game. I mean, it really is. You look at the stats of these two teams. and they are very close. Offensively, defensively, like there's just not much separating them. And so I was a little shocked seeing, I guess maybe I shouldn't be shocked, Vegas putting Green Bay as the favorites in this one on the road.
2.5, I think, last I saw.
Yeah. And so usually home field gets you about 3 points. So I get it. People still aren't believing in Bo Nix. People aren't quite trusting that the Broncos are a true 11-2 kind of team.
And defense has regressed a little bit too the last 4 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, they have. And so I think it'll be a really good one. I think it'll be a close one. Broncos haven't had any game get away from them. They've had a couple blowouts, but every game has been close otherwise. And I pretty much expect the same thing this week.
Yeah, should be a great game. I think Tom Brady said in the game on Sunday that the Packers are historic in terms of yards after catch. They're so good at tackling and they have so much speed on defense. So should be a great game. Really stressful. Hopefully not too stressful or you feel sad depending on the outcome. But it is that time of year. The holidays are great, but it can be tough for some people. So we do want to talk a little bit about mental health for a second also.
Yeah, Broncos country, amid such a wild season, we all know how much it's taken a toll on us mentally. In all seriousness, though, taking care of your mental health shouldn't be harder than taking care of your physical health. Think about it. If you pull a muscle or suddenly your back starts aching, you go see a doctor. But when it comes to finding the right therapist, suddenly it's frustrating. You're dealing with long waiting lists or you have to confront huge out-of-pocket costs. Any one of these factors can stop people from getting the help they need.
That's where Rula comes in. Rula makes it simple, affordable, and fast. They work with most major insurance plans, and the average session copay is just $15. $15. That's basically the cost of lunch, but instead of a sandwich, you're investing in your own headspace.
And with Rula, you're not just matched with a therapist and left to figure it out. They check in and make sure you're actually making progress. Every therapist on the platform is licensed, vetted, and picked for their expertise, so you're talking to someone legit, not just whoever happens to be available.
Getting started couldn't be easier. You answer a few quick questions about what matters to you, and Rula connects you with in-network providers who actually fit your needs. You pick the time, and you could be talking to a therapist as soon as the next day. No weeks of waiting, no endless back and forth. Bottom line, if you've been putting this off, Rula takes away the excuses. Simple, affordable, and actually built to help you get better.
Thousands of guys have already used Rula to finally get the care they needed. Don't keep putting it off. Go to rula.com/milehigh. to get started today. That's RULA.com/milehigh. Take the first step, get connected, and take control of your mental health.
Shout out to that. Make sure you guys are taking care of your mental health. We want to take care of you guys today. Say hello to other people in the chat. We got Chase coming in talking about our main topic here today, RJ Harvey. God, it was about time. Rookie, but running back rookie. And man, we need him. Probably Bo Nix is the most important single player, but out of people who had not totally stepped up yet, which is hard to say because I know he has all the touchdowns, but they've been so scheme oriented. You just have not been able to depend on him. This was a game where you depended on him some. So yeah, excited to talk about that. And he did look good. We got James coming in. We need Bo to air it out like he did last season. Yeah, one of the crazy things about Bo Nix, to just kind of looking at the statistics, because he was bottom 8, I think, in EPA, bottom 3 in success rate over the first 10 weeks of the season. Week 11 through 14, he's top, I think, 5 in EPA, 12th or 13th in success rate, but he's really flipped his air yards. So I know it's dink and duck, and you know how many misses he had early in the season, but I believe he was top 3 in air yards out of the top 35 quarterbacks the first 10 weeks of the season, and now he's bottom 2. The only quarterback who has less air yards per attempt is Aaron Rodgers right now, which, dink and dunk, I know, but you take what's there, right? And I do feel like he's doing a better job. Now, there's some points there where, especially with some defenses coming up, you're going to have to grip it and rip it. That's what she said. But fit it in some holes. That's, again, what she said, that the defense is out there. But right now he's protecting the football and taking what's there. So I'll take it. There probably is another level of aggressiveness that we'll have to see, intellectual aggressiveness, calculated, if you will. But no, it's been good. I don't necessarily need him to air it out. I just need him to be efficient and make the right read. Right now, with the offensive line the way it is, with Sean Payton dialing things up, and with the defense, that's the big thing. That's what I need.
Yeah. I like that he is being smart with the football. he talked about it where in this last game, the Raiders were really leaving the underneath stuff open. And so like you look at his passing chart and you're like, oh, well, he's just dink and dunking the entire game. No, I mean, if you look, those guys were wide open. There was nobody within 10 yards of them. So it's an easy throw. It's an easy pickup of yards. Go get another first down. And we saw the Broncos have some of the more consistent drives of the season. So it was smart play. There were a couple plays where things were open down the field and he didn't take it. Mm-hmm. I really wish there was a couple seam routes where I know one was Adam Troutman was wide open for a touchdown. Another was Courtland Sutton was wide open. And then there was another play. Unfortunately, the offensive line messed up, didn't pick up a switch very well. Otherwise, yeah, stunt. He was wide. There was a receiver wide open for another touchdown. And unfortunately, Bo Nix had to get out of the pocket. So that one wasn't his fault. But you can see there are opportunities for big plays down the field. But right now, I think he's understanding sometimes it is just better to get the yards so we can move forward. So we're not in 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8 yards kind of thing. You're trying to stay on task. You're trying to stay ahead of the chains there. And that's something we haven't seen as much from the offense in the first half of the year. So I love to see that, especially when you don't have as strong of a run game. He's got to be able to do that. You can't have the incompletions that lead to the long plays. So, and then RJ Harvey, like I said, he took a step forward. It's not like the Raiders are a terrible run defense. They're not the best by any means, but they are top 5 in yards given up per carry. They're top 15 in rush yards allowed in per game. So that they were a good run defense. And I felt like RJ Harvey was a lot more confident in the holes that he was supposed to be going through. And he really started using his speed to his advantage there of, hey, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to hit as hard as I can. And I might mess it up a few times. And he did. But there were a lot of times where he was in the right place, right time, picking up some really good positive yards. And I hope that we can see that continue moving forward. Because like I said, if we don't have a run game, it's really hard to see how this team goes and wins a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
if teams can just say, hey, we dare you run against us, and you can't run, Bo Nix is going to have a tough time getting anything going.
And they're just not going to be able to hit explosives, which really important. Didn't matter as much against the Raiders, but it's hard to do what the Broncos did against the Raiders, string together 9-minute drives multiple times in the game. It's just, you got to be able to hit some haymakers, and hard to do that if teams are playing canopy coverage over the top and you're not sucking them in on play action. So it's football is the perfect game. Always the cat and mouse and evolutions and everything like that as well. Let's see hello to some more people in here. Yeah, we got to see William in here. Says, think Love has only thrown 2 or 4 interceptions all season. We got Bolevin Nix. Good to see you. Ernie Mays in the house. Hello, Nick and Carl. Go Broncos country. Great to see you. US Dave says, mathematically, are we bound to lose? I think that's gambler's fallacy. Every time it's a coin flip again, right? So if you say like out of the next like 3, are you likely to hit tails? It's 50-50 every time, right? The last results don't matter on the coin flip. It's not even a true coin flip. Also, it favors Broncos a little bit given how they've been this season, I would say overall. But no, I don't know if they're mathematically bound to lose, but we'll see. It's definitely a tough stretch coming up here. Right now I would probably set it depends on if that week 18 game matters, Carl, but like 2.5 would probably be the over-under line. I think they're more likely to go 2-2 than 4-0 right now. Right now I bet 3-1, but 4-0 is going to be tough.
It'll be tough, and I've had some people say this, and I'm going to ask you this question. Do you believe in that idea of sometimes it's good for you to lose?
I think, I don't know. I think it depends on the people in your locker room and the coaching staff. And I'll tell you what, I think Sean Payton, he's been around enough that he will manufacture crisis in that building where I don't think they're going to get too complacent. Even if they're winning, he's going to find something to make a big deal out of and get them high anxiety and confused, or not confused, but just anxious and on their toes.
I think it's a great thing that they're underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that'll be his, hey, they don't believe in us. This is our game to go prove when we can beat a team that's 9-3-1 that's leading their division. Are they the number 1 seed in the
They're the
NFC
number
right
2
now?
seed. The Rams are number 1 again.
Okay.
I think it's either
But to
Rams
go
or
beat that
Seahawks.
kind of team. Okay, now people will start believing that we're possibly Super Bowl contenders if we can go win this game. So I think there could be maybe some of that avenue that he tries to play. Like you said, he does a great job playing the mind games, know how to motivate players the right way. And we've seen him get the most out of this roster. I think that's been one of the best things that we get to see is we saw Nathaniel Hackett get the worst of what he possibly could from the roster. I mean, there was some talent here. It's even some of the same talent that's here now, but he couldn't get the best out of him. And now all of a sudden you're seeing it. And yeah, we got a couple people saying that the Packers have never won in Denver before. That makes me a little nervous. But at the same time, like it's a tough place to come play. I mean, we were at that game, was it 3 seasons ago?
Yes. Yep. Russell Wilson beat
Jordan off. Yeah. And we saw some great plays there and the Broncos were not good at that time. I think they were 1-4, 1-5 when they went into that game. And that was the start of their 5-game win streak. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if Nos is in the chat, but he was like the one that was like, I was starting not believing that we could win that game. And then he showed up at the meet and greet and was like, oh, we got this, guys. That gave us this whole motivational speech and appreciate that. But yeah, I do think the Broncos can match up well. I think they've got all the talent in the world to go beat any team out there. I really don't think there's even like a true front runner team. If I had to pick one, it'd probably be the Rams, of a team that you look like top to bottom, everywhere on their roster. You're kind of going, where's the weakness? But even there, they've shown some times where they've been up and down. That's about the only roster. Every other team I'm looking at going, yeah, I think Broncos stand a really good chance of beating this team. And even if they played the Rams in the Super Bowl, I'd be like, I think Broncos got a really good chance to go win this game. And so I'm nervous for this game because it is a really good opponent and you're still fighting for that number 1 seed. I think that is a very important thing. Broncos play different at home than they do on the road for sure, especially the defense. I think we've seen the defense play their best games at home with that home crowd going. And I would love for anybody to have to come to Denver and try to play in that environment. And we got Chief of Things saying, got to experience Broncos country in Las Vegas, orange and blue in Allegiant Stadium. Incredible experience. First game ever. Buckets. Glad you got to go experience that. That's one of the stadiums that's on my bucket list to go see a game in. So I'm hoping here in the next couple of years, maybe I can take my kids or maybe my wife. I guess maybe it'd be better to take her to Vegas than my kids.
I mean, when we were there, we saw a lot of babies on the strip.
Yeah.
So I was like,
yeah, it's true.
God bless them.
But no, I'm glad you got to go see that game. Glad the Broncos put on a good show for you. And it looked like it was pretty much probably 60-40 Broncos fans in that stadium.
Yeah, 70%. It was a lot of orange. That's one reason I always like the orange better. People are like, go back to the blue. Orange pops so much in the stands. Like it's, even if it is 50%, it feels like 70. It's not a muted color. So I always prefer that. We got Mile High Dutchy coming in, says, hello, MHH and Broncos fans. Go Broncos. You can beat the Packers. Extend GP's contract right now. George Payton, is that who we're talking about here?
That's what I guess.
Let's see how it plays out still. I think, you got time. There's no reason to rush it. Now, granted, if that's what Sean Payton wants, then sure thing. But I want to see a little bit more. I want to see this next iteration as well, because as good as this turnaround has been, I feel like I'd put more credit at that of Sean Payton's feet. And also, I do hold fault for him for Nathaniel Hackett, Russell Wilson trade and contract. So, that's in the past, but it is on his resume. Right. So I do want to see it play out a little bit more. We got Ernie Mays coming in. The 31 teams are boring. I love Ernie. He doesn't even want to hear about the other teams. Broncos, when I think Ernie watches a game, they're playing against just empty spaces. There's nobody else out there playing on air. So shout out to Ernie. We got Derek coming in here saying level of worry about the Packers game. Really tired of the disrespect in the league media. Doesn't give us much respect. I have seen, who is it at NBC? Tony Pauline? No, that's not it. Excuse me. That's not the name. I can't remember who it is over at NBC, but he has a weekly ranking show as well, like Chris Sims and stuff. And he has the Broncos number 1 in his power ranking right now. So he's done it for a while. I cannot think. He's shorter. Somebody in the chat probably knows. But yeah, there's some respect out there. So that's good. Florio.
It takes a while.
Florio. Yep, it's Florio.
There you go.
Florio. Yep.
Okay. It does take a while sometimes for people, like I said, to come around. They've seen the Broncos be bad. And yes, Broncos were 10-7 last year. And Bo Nix, he's one of those players. If you believed in him when he was drafted, you like certain things that he's shown, and you're like, yep, that proves it. If you didn't like him, there's things you're going to point to and say, yep, that's why he's not good. I don't think any of that has changed either way for people where they stood on him. And so a lot of people in their rankings, it really depends on the quarterback of how you feel about him. You know, I'm sure a few of you have probably watched the show First Things First with Nick Wright and those kind of guys. And of course, they're all Bronco haters. And I think one of their guys is a Chargers fan. One of their guys is a Ravens fan. One of their guys is a Patriots fan. One of them's a Chiefs fan. So any chance that they can get the dog on the Broncos, like I saw they did their quarterback pyramid. They didn't even remember that Bo Nix played a game this last week. They said that he was on a bye week.
I mean,
so I'm kind of like, you know, it's kind of hard to take them serious when they haven't really been paying attention a whole lot. But so anyway, we got Ralph coming in saying 13-1 in Denver for the Packers. But remember, the Packers are 0-1 in the Super Bowl against us. That's the one that matters, or 1-13. And yes, the big one that matters, Super Bowl. I would love to see that rematch again. I think that's a fun one. You know, that was my first really big memory of the Broncos. I was 7th grade when the Broncos won that Super Bowl, and got to have my first football party of people coming over, friends. And I just remember us reenacting a lot of the plays, one person being John Elway. I got to be Terrell Davis. And so doing the dive over the couch for a touchdown kind of thing, and going flying. And yeah, I got in a lot of trouble for that party, but Broncos won a Super Bowl, so I'll take it.
That's what counts. Do want to get into RJ Harvey still, but we got Jake coming in. Woot, good to see you. Daniel Berry Sports, appreciate you. Says happy Tuesday. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Elias did want to say hello to you. Eli Pearl's in the house. Hi, how you doing, Pearl? Hope everything's doing well. Sorry. Go ahead. Hands off the wheel. Phil McLaughlin coming in. Super chat. Wanted to give a shout out to Ralph coming in with a super chat. Now we got Phil as well. Dog's back in here. Kid was eating downstairs and he was crying. Now he's back. Summit, come on, man. Make some better life decisions. We got Phil saying, good evening, Nick and Carl and Deacon Scott. 3 keys to winning. Oh, man. Score more points than the other team. That's probably got to be number one. I think you have to win the turnover battle in this one. Denver has really struggled taking the ball away this season. I don't know what it is. They just haven't done it. I mean, Sean Payton said it was one of the big – I'll hit 2 of the Sean Payton keys. Win the turnover battle, which means the defense taking the bleeping ball away. Jordan Love will do some trick shots. And with how much man coverage you play and how he'll throw off his back foot and yell Kobe, like, you think there'll be some chances out there. And they've really pushed the ball against man coverage. Let's see him take the freaking ball away. You know, Riley Moss, come on, buddy. It's time. And I'll steal Sean Payton again. 2 things we've been harping on all season. Penalties. Like, they're still really struggling with penalties. So, yeah, those are 2. I'll give you another one, Carl, if you want here. But those are the 2 that really stand out. Win the turnover battle, but like, I want to see freaking takeaways, not just like, 0-0 again. No, we need to start freaking turning the ball over or taking the ball away and win the penalty matchup as well.
Yeah, I'll throw out a couple here. I'd say you can't let Micah Parsons ruin the game. You've got to do a great job of keeping an eye on him. He's very different than really any other edge rusher out there because of how much they move him around. You know, one play he'll be coming up the A gap, then they'll move him to the edge. Sometimes they'll have him drop back and cover. You know, he's everywhere, and he's going to try to find the weakest spot, which right now is Palczewski. So we got to see. I'm guessing he's probably going to get matched up against him a couple times, and you better get him some help because that's going to be a really bad matchup for him. And so I'm really hoping the Broncos can do a great job keeping track, pointing him out. Hey, he's right here. Let's make sure we got a couple guys blocking or running back helping, tight end chipping, whatever you need to do to make sure that guy does not wreck your game plan, because he's that kind of player out there. There's like 3 or 4 guys that you could make that kind of claim for. He's one of them.
He's one of the top 3 best pass rushers in football. Will Anderson, Myles Garrett. I love you, Nick Benito. Micah Parsons. I mean, Benito's great. He's not on the tier with those guys. Maybe Aiden Hutchinson, but I wouldn't. I think it's those three. They stand alone. And to that point, Carl, how do you keep a good pass rusher at bay?
Run the ball.
Run the ball. Yes. You need to be better on first and second down. If you're constantly third and long behind the sticks, obvious pass situations, protect Bo Nix because Micah Parsons could eviscerate him, especially if they're moving pockets as much. I mean, I was talking about it on Monday morning. I don't know if anybody in the NFL closes space like Micah Parsons. I know Benito, like the get off, maybe Benito's number one with like the bend, but like from A to B, if there's space to close, Parson is like a freaking lion. It is unbelievable. And with how much the Broncos move the pockets and Bo Nix plays laterally, that scares me. I don't know if I necessarily want as many moving. I have to use it somewhat, and we saw Caleb Williams doing it last week too. But I'd rather see a little bit more static vertical dropbacks and chop plays down the field and playing with the integrity of the pocket to not allow those spaces to close. And winning on first and second down is absolutely huge for that as well. I did want to say hello to David. Says, hello, everyone. Can't stay back in the ICU. Sepsis. I'm going to try to sleep. Nurses want me off the phone. Oh, David, thinking about you, buddy. That is no good. So yeah, people in the chat, make sure you send your best thoughts, prayers, vibes, everything. Also, we got String Guy saying, just got to the hospital today, 2 tubes in my right side, draining infection, doing better. You guys need to stay healthy. Gosh darn, the Broncos finally have a good team together, and you guys are falling apart. So, there goes my camera. Seriously, get healthy. Michael Ronquillo, good evening. Go building the Broncos. Go, Michael. Appreciate you coming in here. Hope you're doing well. And hopefully you're healthy, Ronk, as Roy comes in and saying the Ronk. I did see our guy, also maybe Scott can see it. Patrick is in the house, one of the all-time bests. Always good to see Patrick. He said that he's sending coffee my way. There we go. I got it. Aloha BTB will send SOS tomorrow. Yeah, I needed some of that vanilla macadamia. Started that job, and it's kicking my butt. We got Noah coming in. Says, what's up, fellas? Great to see you. Good to see you so much. Yeah, Michael saying hello to Summit. Also awesome to see more people in here. Isaiah Rocio coming in. I764 says they don't sit down and watch the games analyze. They talked about what gets them views and clicks, especially Nick Wrong. Yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying the bits where he's really having to eat crow, and they've been giving him a lot of flack for it as well. So I'll take it.
Yeah,
I know, Carl. I do want to get into RJ Harvey in this game, and I almost wonder if this last game for the Broncos, given how they utilize personnel, probably the most 6 personnel we've seen in weeks from the Broncos. You got Mercedes Lewis out snapping Evan Ingram. You got little Jordan Humphrey out there. Troy Franklin getting the least snaps he's gotten in weeks. They played heavy. 5th. What was that?
Troy Franklin. He was 5th amongst the wide receivers. Marvin Mims out snapped him. And then, like I said, little Jordan Humphrey, Pat Bryant, and of course, Courtland Sutton. So he's fallen off his snaps have gone down the last about 3 weeks now. Mm-hmm. And you're starting to see where, like I said, Broncos are trying to go big. They're trying to figure out the right personnel to have a run game. And if you can't block, you're not going to see the field right now. And Troy Franklin, he's been better this year as a blocker, but he's not great. You know, that's never been the strength of his game. And I mean, I will give credit to Troy Franklin. He's probably been our best receiver of getting open. And that's why he at one point had the most targets on this team. And part of that's because Sutton, he's being double, triple teamed. So even if he's not getting open because of that. But Troy Franklin has done a good job of getting open, but he can't be a trusted player on the field right now. Some of the drops, even this last game, the couple opportunities he did get, he had one that bounced off his helmet. It was a rocket by Bo Nix, but it's a pass you expect an NFL receiver to catch. And he didn't make it. You know, I was watching the Packers game against the Bears earlier today, and there was one where a receiver just laid out one-handed, brought it in for a catch. Like, man, we haven't seen that from a Broncos receiver for a while. I mean, Courtland Sutton's done it a couple times, not this year, but like last year, there was a couple times, the year before that. But just seeing a guy that could make a really, really tough catch, we haven't really had that as much. And that's where Troy Franklin, one bad drop can ruin a game. Look at the Chiefs against Houston.
There was more than one bad drop.
Well, it was, but those drops really make or break a season sometimes, or make or break a game. a must-win game and you have that kind of thing. And then, like I said, the run game, you got to get your best guys out there. And I know I had somebody message me during the game. They're like, why is little Jordan Humphrey on the field? I hate seeing that guy. Well, he's trusted by the coaches. Trust goes a long way of getting you snaps. And yes, he's not the best player, but the guy's willing to put in the work. He's in the right place at the right time. And that's important when it comes to an NFL game, to know that your guy's going to do his job.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost everything in passing, right? Knowing your right spot and everything like that. Did have a comment here. Did want to get a few more. Texas Lane over on Twitch saying Franklin is overrated. I mean, it depends on who you ask, right? I think he's a wide receiver 3 or 4 in a team that's lacking top wide receiver talent this season and top offensive playmaker talent. And I'm totally fine with him in that role, being kind of a stretch Z and offering a little bit of verticality to the offense. But when he is your number one target getter, there's a problem. So that's obviously not too much of a problem because you are 10-11-2, 10-2, whatever the heck the Broncos are right now, winning a lot of games, 10 in a row. So they must be 11-2. No, yeah, it's, and he's also, I think, the youngest player on the roster as well. So give it time. We still got the rookie contract, 4th round pick for a reason. But I think people are thinking he's going to be this superstar wide receiver run. Then I'd say you probably have him overrated. But as far as, serviceable 3 or 4 in a rotation on a rookie contract, especially when guys like that are getting buco bucks on the market because teams are desperate for wide receiver, he's positive ROI for the draft pick and the contract. Just you do wish you had better than him further up the pecking order, but can't complain too much. How they built the team is working pretty well. Trench oriented, baby. Let's beat the heck out of teams on the line of scrimmage and protect the football. Benjamin comes in, says Peyton neutralized Myles Garrett and we beat the Browns with Wilson. Got to have faith. We do the same with Parsons. Different players. Parsons is a bit more weaponized, where Garrett's just lining up every play. Sometimes they'll weaponize him too, over the A gap or standing up. But Parsons is a chess piece. And the Packers defensive coordinator, I keep wanting to say Heupel, but I know he's the offense or the head coach of Tennessee, but he's done a really good job. The Packers defensive coordinator, name starts with an H, former BC.
Jeff
Hafley. I was like, Jeff something, Hafley. He's going to get head coaching interviews this season. Packers have been really good. Again, I mentioned just the speed they have sideline to sideline. They're one of the best teams in the entire NFL and limiting explosive plays as well. And they are just, weaponized. One reason you want to stay ahead of the sticks against them. And how the Broncos attack the football field in the pass game, but also the run game, does not match up well with how the Packers play. If you're trying to throw short of the sticks and letting your wide receivers create some yak, or you're trying to run outside the screen game, I just don't think you're going to find much success. They're just so freaking fast, and their defensive backs tackles so well. So you're going to have to run at them a little bit. Duo, power, vertical shots, the dagger route, finding the soft spot in the zone, cover 4, cover 6, you'll see from the Packers a little bit. They do a little bit of everything, but they're more zone oriented. So it's going to be a heck of a matchup, man. I think this is going to be a white knuckle one for both teams, and I expect it to be a lot of haymakers. And personally, Big Ten football, that's what I grew up on. I'm okay with a low scoring, battle of attrition that hopefully we see here. Jordan Love can sling it though, so we'll see. We got Cody coming in and says Moore going to get new playing time. Moore, is he talking about
Elijah Moore?
Who?
No, Elijah Moore, the wide receiver.
Moore. Okay, yep. I don't expect him to get any playing time, barring injury. He had a chance to go with multiple teams. Buffalo is desperate for wide receiver help as well, and they let him go for nothing. So I think he is just a break glass in case of emergency Z slot option if something were to happen to Franklin/Mims. Maybe they'll weaponize Mims. I think we talked about it last week, maybe, Carl, but maybe Mims running back package down the stretch here in the playoffs, and that puts a little bit more injury risk for him as well. But I don't expect to see more barring injury.
Yeah, when that question earlier of the keys to the game, I think one of mine would be maybe find 2 more touches for Marvin Mims per game. Just because he is so explosive, every time he gets the ball could end up in being a touchdown, whether it's him running deep for a touchdown or even taking pass out of the backfield, turning it into a 40, 50-yard play. I think you've just got to utilize that a little bit more because you're not having the explosive plays right now. And he's one that can make something happen that others can't. So I'm hoping we see a little bit more of him. And I love always seeing Mike S come in saying, "What's up, Nick, Carl, and Broncos country? Good to see you as well." I was just talking to somebody earlier about Alabama player for the draft. Not this year, next year.
Better not be Ryan Williams. Talk about bad hands.
Well, it was Ryan Williams. And I said, I don't think that's the kind of wide receiver Sean Payton would want here in Denver.
He's good, but man, he drops everything. God, he's been a head case this year on the field. Seems like a good guy off the field. But yeah, I think I like Cam Coleman more than him. And I definitely like Donovan Smith out there. Not Donovan Smith, Jeremiah Smith. I always do that. Donovan Smith, old left tackle, Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. But there's a few other guys. So we'll see what happens here. I have to talk about RJ Harvey. What a game for RJ Harvey. 100 yards, total yards. He broke tackles better than we've seen this season. He showed a little bit more patience as well. I still feel like long-term his best is a 1B to somebody else's 1A that can run a little bit more of the between the tackle runs. But I am just really, really impressed with Harvey's natural hands. He brings in the ball so smoothly, and I'm not to, disparage somebody, but like people are talking about the explosiveness of Phillip Lindsay as a runner and like, wow, why don't they just, use him as a running back out of the backfield? And it's like, it never looked that coordinated, pulling the ball in, like that transition from receiver, hauling it into runner. And Harvey does it really, really well. So maybe we're going to test these Packers linebackers and defensive backs in this one. I mean, they have Edgerrin Cooper, who's one of probably the best young linebackers in football, top 3, one of the young linebackers. They got Quay Walker as well, who's been awesome. Evan Williams tackles like a banshee for them. But Harvey out of the backfield has been great. And it's really good to see him get a little bit of between the tackles run as well. Looking a lot better against the Raiders. I will be curious to see if the Broncos go a little bit more heavy personnel again, like they did with the Raiders, or if instead they go more 11 personnel base and try to, it's kind of counterintuitive. You think like more guys in the box, more bodies to help, but in a sim pressure era, if you have less guys near the quarterback line of scrimmage, you can't disguise your pass rushers as much. Like you have to declare, right? Like Micah Parsons playing over the slot. Like sometimes, that's come late, but you have to give a lot more time for that. Where if like you have a 12 personnel and he's lined up over the A gap, who's dropping, who's coming and going. It's harder for the quarterback sometimes to diagnose pre-snap and the immediately post-snap who's coming and going. And the Packers like to weaponize that because they have Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, Enigbari, one of the best run defense linemen in the entire NFL. So yeah, I'm honestly looking for them to spread it out a little bit in this one. So they have to declare, make them cover every blade of grass, make them cover horizontally, and then punch them in the middle of the defense. If I was coordinating, but Sean Payton knows better than me. That's just my first thought when I watched this Packers team.
Yeah, I think for me, RJ Harvey, the part that has surprised me the most has actually been his goal line ability. Mm-hmm. He's done a great job being a smaller back, being a guy that we really brought in more for his explosive playability, and he's shown that some. But I think he has now 3 or 4 goal line touchdowns, rushing, not receiving. And then you add in another couple receiving goal line touchdowns as well. So he's become a real threat in the red zone for you that wasn't there before. I know a big stat that was going out this week was that RJ Harvey is only the 6th rookie since 1990 to have 5+ rushing touchdowns and 4+ receiving touchdowns, joining guys like Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, David Johnson, Matt Forte, and Edgerrin James. That's a pretty good list of names to join. Now, I don't think he's to that level of what they've shown, those other guys have shown quite yet, but you see the promise. You see what Sean Payton saw when he drafted him, that this guy could be a real weapon in both the running game and the passing game. And so, yeah, I'm very happy with what he's shown so far. And I do think his best games are ahead of him. I think this last game that you saw, Broncos trusted him the most. He had 17 carries. Next guy had 4 and McLaughlin. And McLaughlin had a decent game. Mm-hmm. I think he had 4 carries for 22 yards but he had the same number of carries as Bidet. So you're seeing that they've now made that decision. Hey, Harvey is our number one guy. He's going to get the bulk of the carries. And we think that this is going to work well for our offense. And like I said, he's starting to break some tackles. He's starting to be a lot more confident hitting the line of scrimmage, how he needs to hit it. And I just, like I said, I think his best days are ahead, and he's going to be such a big piece of if we are going to really be a Super Bowl contender. And if we beat the Packers, I think it's going to be another game where he has probably 100 all-purpose yards. If he can't quite get to that, it's going to be tough to beat him.
Yeah. It's going to be tough to beat him in general. This is probably the Broncos' most talented opponent so far. I mean, if you're just going based on Vegas odds, I think Packers are 3 right now, or 2 in Vegas odds. So that would put them as the most tough opponent. Luckily, it is at Denver, and Denver is on an 11-game win streak. But I really do think the key is for the Broncos to sustain the run game in the middle of the field between the tackles, and also Bo Nix to be able to hit those hole shots in zone. And some of those, I mean, they're tough. You got to trust your arm and the timing and everything and fit those in there. And there's added risk, right? That some of those can get batted, tipped, and eyes on the football, eyes on the quarterback. But to move the football, especially if you're trying to get some chunk plays, I don't think it can be sideline behind the line of scrimmage, 5 yards, outside the hash marks constantly, and then play action shot plays. Like, you're going to have to hit some, tough throws in this one. Now, the Packers defense isn't, a top 5 unit in the league. Like, they have, especially at cornerback, they have some weaknesses on there, a little bit light up front as well. But the big time matchup for this game is the Broncos defense versus the Packers offense. And this is going to be this is a huge measuring stick game for the Broncos. We haven't even mentioned yet Josh Jacobs. I mean, unfortunately, he's been daddy for the Broncos over his career. Hate to say it, but he's dominated. I mean, the Broncos tried really hard to sign him, if you guys recall, 2 years ago, and he said, no, I want to sign with a contender, and pick the Packers over the Broncos. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't think he made a bad decision per se, because the Packers have been awesome with him, but maybe that can get the defense riled up a little bit too. And yeah, the Packers, what's really tough, and I want to get to Cody's comment here, but it's so tough with the Packers because, like, you have PS2, who's like a matchup eraser, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody to erase for this Packers team. They're a team of a bunch of number 2s and number 3s, and because of the quarterback and the system, you don't have simply, okay, PS2, you're taking out Jamar Chase. PS2, you're taking out George Pickens. I guess the George Pickens and Chase are not good examples because you got good wide receivers on the opposite side of them, but Jackson Smith and Jigba, see ya. You're out of the game because we have PS2 on you. They don't have that. They will pick whatever matchup. So I'm really curious to see what Vance Joseph does as far as who's lining up with who and just how those matchups play out. I mean, Christian Watson's been so explosive. Romeo Doubs is playing great. Wicks is playing good football. They just got Reed back as well. They're not even using their first-round pick in Golden right now. I know the Broncos fans really wanted Golden, so it's going to be a fascinating matchup, man. I cannot wait. I do think their offensive line, though, is average, and that's something that can tilt the scales for the Broncos, hopefully. Cody W. coming in, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Cody, for supporting the show. We're going to wrap it on up here pretty soon, so get your last-second super chats in, and appreciate everybody. Says, seems to me Bo's starting to get a little bit more settled. He's had some pretty good no-look passes versus the Raiders. He had that one over the middle of the field where he eye-juked. I don't even know what you'd call it. Devin White out of his socks, and that was awesome. Again, Bo Nix didn't have to reinvent the wheel in this one. He was really efficient, and sometimes that's all you need versus your opponent. They had yards accessible to them underneath, and he did that for the most part. So, yeah, he definitely is playing a little bit more comfortable, and I feel like his timing and his footwork just does not look as erratic right now. So we'll see if he gets sped up with some good pass rushers in the Packers. Also, the Jags have some decent pass rushers as well coming up here. Luckily, the Broncos will be playing at home, so hopefully that'll help some. But he's looked more confident and more comfortable. And like I said, the last 4 weeks, top 5 in EPA per play. Not a perfect stat, but better than almost every single other one. So
yeah, he still has a couple times where he's still leaving the pocket before he should. There's a couple times I think he should have kept his eyes down the field, and he just got a little bit jittery. But I mean, you have to remember, this guy's still a second-year quarterback in the NFL. He's still young, still got plenty of time to get it all figured out. The fact that they're winning while he's figuring it out is incredible to see. And like I said, he does look more settled. He's looking better at getting through his actual reads, keeping his feet with his eyes. And so then you're not seeing quite the erratic passes that we were watching there for a while, where it's like, where in the world were you even throwing it? And now it's nope. Okay, that makes sense. Still a couple inaccurate throws. I mean, I'm nitpicking here. I know people are gonna be like, oh, well, now you're one of those Bo Nix haters. No, I really like what Bo's showing, and I really do think he has made the turn. That little mini bye that they had before the Chiefs game, you can tell like there's just been a difference in him since then. And if he can continue down this trend, I think there's as good a chance as any for the Broncos to be the AFC representation in the Super Bowl.
They got a chance, man. Anybody right now. I think just taking the pulse on the talking heads that don't cover the Broncos, which, still a good barometer to have, I think, overall, because they're not as biased based on the information that we have in front of us they are biased, but in a different way. But I think they still don't believe the Broncos. Now, this final 4-game stretch, we'll see, but they're really jumping on the Houston bandwagon and, Bills just because of the reality of the quarterback. And I mean, Josh Allen, he can go supernova, which is something that we have not seen from Bo Nix, which is fine. You don't have to hit that, but having that ability to just go completely unconscious and like, we can't stop this guy no matter what we do, is a card that sometimes you need to play in the playoffs. Hopefully you don't have to, because your offensive line, your scheming, and your defense are doing enough that your quarterback doesn't have to, put their fingers in 5 different sprung leaks on the leaky boat of the team. But you never know. If you're paying a guy like that, they do have to be that. So, yeah, David, man, seeing everything that's going on, that's really scary stuff. Hopefully they can get it all centered here and you feeling a lot better very soon. But, yeah, just to put a bow on it, and Wheels were to go jump back and forth. You're talking about your life there. So really just shout out to you, David. Listen to your nurses, listen to your doctors. But RJ Harvey, I still don't buy him as like this, total workhorse back. I think Denver has to add another running back this offseason. That's probably like that and a Y tight end, the biggest priorities other than like overarching offensive weapon. But I'm with how he looked, I'm feeling a lot better. And if he looks like that the rest of the way, you have a chance. If he doesn't, if he goes back to pre-Raiders game, RJ Harvey, I just don't think, I don't know if Bo Nix can put together 3 incredible super games, because he'd have to win the Super Bowl, or 4, depending on where they finish.
I'm with you. Like I said, you need that little bit of a threat of a run game. Teams have to respect it, where they can't just drop back, like you said, and just say, hey, we're going to only have 5-6 guys in the box, maybe 7, and we still don't believe you can do anything against it. You got to make them at least believe that there's something going on there. And so I'm with you. I think I'm believing a little bit in RJ Harvey. I still don't like that there's quite a few 0 or negative plays, but they're becoming less and less. And the other big part of it for me, Ben Powers coming back. Mm-hmm. If he is pre-injury Ben Powers, then I think this run game can really take off, because he was incredible as a run blocker. Like I think before he was hurt, he was our best run blocker on the team. And so if he can get back to that, and Palczewski, he's done a fine job, but there is a difference between what he can bring and what a fully healthy Ben Powers can bring to this team. And then all of a sudden you've got 5 true great guys across the line. Even Wattenberg's been playing better. You get those 5 guys going, and good luck to anybody across from them.
Yeah. And Nate Atkins, too, although shout out, I saw in the chat too, Prentice has been great for the Broncos. So we're going to wrap it up, man. I am so excited for this Broncos-Packers game. If anybody has a lead on a ticket and you want me to have a live in-person narration of the game, I do one of those things where I say it before the commentators do all the time. If that annoys you, don't invite me. But let me know, because I would love to get out to this game. But I know the tickets are going for crazy because Packers are great. But we'll see what happens. We got Cody saying get Ingram touches versus Green Bay. Maybe it's just they're so fast and athletic at the linebacker spot, and Williams tackles so well. Like for Ingram, he doesn't force them into heavier personnel packages. And I don't know if he's running away from those guys right now. I think I'd be a little bit more 11 personnel in this one with Troutman. And if you are going to play in the 2 tight, like you'll get some usage from Ingram too, but maybe more so slot or maybe some H-back stuff even. But I'm not inviting bodies into the box with Micah Parsons, if possible, unless it's like a pure chip. But even then, you can have that chip there, and you're expecting him to go the outside, and he doesn't. So it's hard.
Yeah, he's a good player, but unfortunately, he tips what you're going to do too much, and that's why you're seeing his snap count be pretty 30-40% every game right now. And part of it is also just he hasn't been as great of a weapon as you were hoping. The drops have been a problem. He just hasn't been quite as engaged as you would like him to be. And so I'm not the biggest Troutman fan, but right now he truly is our number 1 tight end.
Yeah. Oh, man, we'll see. It should be a great game. Ralph says, Romo's calling the game. I'd rather listen to you, Nick Kendell. Well, tell that to my wife. No, it's it's a lot of fun. Appreciate everybody coming in. Super chats. You guys are killing it. Ralph a few times. Phil, of course. Cody helping us keep the lights on. Shout out to you guys. Make sure you guys are following Carl and I on Twitter. Carl's at Carl Dumler, MHH. I'm at Nick Kendell, MHH. We're also at Mile High Huddle. Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle and Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle pod. And we just got all the wrapped and everything. But if you're listening to us on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I still do Apple Podcasts, the to and from work, doing some coding or whatever. I'm probably listening to a podcast. So make sure you guys find us there. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. That helps us a heck of a lot. Subscribe, like, and share over on YouTube. And of course, become a member over on YouTube as well. So appreciate everyone. Carl, it's always a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll keep the good vibes going here with this Packers game. So I know it's your last show. We're over time. Prediction. What's the score?
I honestly do think the Broncos are going to win this one.
Oh, man.
Make
me nervous.
I don't know. I just have a feeling, like I said, Bo Nix is getting more confident. I think he and Sean Payton are on a very good page. I think they're starting to see a few more things. And I like the rotation they're doing with the different weapons and how they're trying to use each of them. And I do think the run game will have a pretty successful game. Like I said, they're a little light up front for Green Bay. I think the Broncos can push some people. This is a great game for minors to get some movement going. And so I think the Broncos control things with it being a home game. That crowd's going to be loud. Like I said, the tickets are going like crazy for price wise because everybody wants to go see this game. And hopefully it's not a ton of Packers fans buying those tickets, but I think it's going to be enough. And I think the Broncos win this one. I'm going to say Broncos get to 24, Packers get to 20.
Oh, man, I hope so. I'm going to save mine. I'm not ready to say. I think I don't have the best record for the Broncos because I bet against them in the Chiefs game. But I picked against them in the Chiefs game and the Cowboys game. But other than that, I've got them right this season. I did pick them in the Colts game, and they got that one. They lost that one. But other than that, but the Broncos keep winning, and that's been great for us. So shout out to everybody. Shout out again. Wanted to give a quick shout out again to David. Gosh. David Youngkin, God bless you, man. Hope you're feeling better. Also, String Guy as well. Appreciate all you. Carl, always a pleasure. Make sure you guys are choosing kindness, compassion. It is the holidays, like we talked about earlier. Make sure you're calling 988 if you are having a hard time. The suicide hotline with the holidays coming up. And appreciate everyone. I'll be over hanging out with Scott tomorrow morning, talking some Falcons if you want to commiserate a little bit. And Eric and I will be back Friday morning. But make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. Go Broncos.